Hi, everybody. Welcome to Around the Block on this Tuesday. C'est moi, it's me, and Carrie King.
Hello.
Hi. We're glad you're here, Carrie.
I'm glad to be here. We're just a little bit behind, but you know what? We're here. That's
On a
what matters,
Tuesday.
right? On a
Yes,
Tuesday.
we're here, and that is what matters because holy cow, life is a whirlwind sometimes.
Dang, isn't it?
Yes.
Back to school week.
Oh my gosh, so much
That's all
happening.
crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Lots of school stuff, all the supplies, meetings with teachers.
New
It's a lot.
homerooms, new places, like, you know what I mean? Some kids are going to new schools,
Yeah.
trying to get used to which hallway leads where.
And
Where's the
Everly already has homework. And this is
after day one?
Well, we started on
two.
Thursday.
Okay.
So Thursday, Friday. So she already had homework yesterday,
See,
Monday.
I just have a whole thing about homework. I
Mm-hmm.
do not see why we need homework.
No,
in
learn
this
it
day
at
and age.
school.
Yeah.
Go home and relax.
Extra credit, maybe?
Yeah, I agree with
Homework. But you should be able to finish your work at school,
that. Mm-hmm.
right?
I think so. I think so too.
Because if each class has homework, how many more hours of schoolwork does that mean for that child? You know what I mean? It's like, that's just too much.
And when do you get a
I
break?
realize there
Yeah.
are probably some people who totally disagree with me on this, but that's okay.
Well, I agree with you.
Okay, well, there you go.
Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree with you. Because kids go through enough stress already when
I
it comes
agree.
to school.
I
So
agree.
give them a break.
Yeah.
So okay, there is a new initiative out right now, which I love. KFOR is partnering with this. It's
Mhm.
called In by 10.
I don't know. Do you remember do
Mhm.
you know where your children are?
Yes.
It's 10 p.m. I
Yes.
do remember this.
I was a kid when those were playing. I
Mhm.
don't know what year it was that they stopped, but they started in the 70s, NBC. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? We're bringing it back.
We're
That's
bringing
going
it
to be
back.
so cool. We're going to do it every night for a year, right
Right.
before our 10 o'clock newscast.
Mhm.
And it's part of this initiative called In by 10 to
Right.
help curb teen violence or violence against teens. This is Bricktown we're looking at. There have been many shootings, many stabbings recently, and a lot of them have involved innocent victims. There was an 18-year-old girl named Lyric who just died. She was standing outside Harkins Theater with a group of friends.
Mhm.
Some cars drove by, shot into the crowd randomly, thinking that they had seen a rival gang there earlier in the day, and they were just hoping to hit some of them. They hit her and she died, 18 years old. So civic leaders are coming together saying, grandparents, parents, guardians, make sure your kids are in by 10 because nothing good happens after 10. And if you're an adolescent and you get arrested, 40% of adolescents who get arrested are arrested after midnight. So there's just nothing good out there, especially, I mean, what are you going to do out there anyway, besides hang out with friends?
And if you're under the age of 18, you probably should be home anyway because you probably have homework to still finish and you need to get up early in the morning for the next day, right?
Right.
And some kids do work and that's different, but they're usually on that older, side, pushing 17, 18.
Mhm.
But again, I love this initiative. I love bringing it back.
I do too. And we saw Pastor Derek Scobie there
Mhm.
talking. He's one of the main leaders
Yeah.
who's conducting this. And he actually was shot as a 17-year-old in an arcade for no reason.
I know.
Someone just fired into the arcade and it shot him in the leg.
Mhm.
Fortunately, he lived. He's gone on to do great things.
He
for
has
the
an
community.
amazing testimony.
He
Yeah.
really does. So yeah, he does all kinds, he and his church do all
Mhm.
kinds of great things for the community. So what was your curfew? Do you remember back in the day when you were a teenager, what yours was?
Oh, I mean, I had to be home at 10. I mean, that, I think when I got a little older on the weekends, it was like 11:30,
Yeah, I think that was mine too.
which was a rarity for me to be out that late
Yeah.
anyway. Were a couple times I might have missed the curfew. Not really. I really did. There was only, I think, one time. And then you want to know the funniest part about that? Okay. So I will tell you this funny story because you will laugh.
Okay.
So I am home 30 minutes before I'm supposed to be home. Get there, walk in, because at that particular house, you walked in, the back door there was like a back door to the backyard, front door to the front yard, and then there was a side door that we came in to where you parked, right?
Mhm.
So we came in the side door, had a conversation with my younger sister. Everything was fine. We both go to bed. The next morning, I am in trouble because I missed curfew. I look around, and my sister's standing there, and I said, I had a conversation with you in this very kitchen last night. She was sleepwalking and told my mom that I missed curfew.
Oh my gosh.
I had not missed curfew, but she was sleepwalking. and did not recall this whole conversation. Of course, then she felt terrible, but it was just like, I'm in trouble and I have done nothing. It was just like,
That's the worst.
okay,
When you get in
okay.
trouble for nothing. Did your mom believe you?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
good.
yes. I mean, there was also let me think about that half a second. Okay, because she knew immediately. My mother's like the best lie detector there is out there. I mean, she can meet you for half a second and know if you're telling the truth or not. I mean, she just has a gift about it. Seriously, I know moms have that built-in intuition, but she really has it. And she knew immediately. I think just because of my initial reaction of, wait a minute, she and I had a conversation when I got here last night. We talked in the kitchen. It wasn't about anything, revolutionary, but still we had a conversation.
But you knew the details.
Yeah,
She forgot because she was sleepwalking. Does she
yeah.
still sleepwalk, or did she have a
No,
problem with that?
no, but she would do that
Huh.
occasionally, but it wasn't ever like a really big thing where we had to like put a latch on her door so she didn't luckily.
Don't let her have Ambien, because Ambien causes sleepwalking too. And
Yeah, can't have that.
yes, yes. So hopefully she doesn't have sleeping problems.
She
Doesn't need
does,
Ambien.
yeah,
Good,
she does not need Ambien and she does not sleepwalk anymore, thank
good,
goodness.
good deal. All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, this is for everyone in the metro area. $10 lunch deals at several restaurants. We'll tell you where coming up. Welcome back to Around the Block. One of the insects that I like the least, aka hate, are ticks.
Ew, I know.
Ticks are disgusting.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, my grandpa had a farm, and we would get covered in leeches and ticks. And it was like, he was like, meh, part of it, part of living out in the country. We'd climb out of the creek, and he'd get his pocket knife and just scrape off the leeches.
Leeches.
Ugh. But then one
Ugh.
time I had,
Yeah, that's terrible.
right there on the inside of my ear, I had a tick when I was like 5. And ever since then, I've been like, nope, hate them. Those are mosquitoes. Ticks and mosquitoes are the worst. We have an invasive tick that's made it to Oklahoma. And
Oh, yay.
I know, isn't this fun?
I know.
It's the Asian longhorned tick. Invasive tick species has made it to 21 states, including Oklahoma. And we're looking at global warming. And that's one of the issues why they are spreading out. And also, it's wetter. Like, we've had a really wet August.
Yes.
So they stick around longer. They're able to not go into dormancy or whatever it is. Maybe they die when it freezes. I don't know. Hopefully they die. But
they always come back.
I know.
They always come back.
They're always back. So, yes, climate change is creating warmer and wetter conditions around the globe. So that's influencing how long longhorn ticks transmit the disease. It's a disease. I actually spelled out the pronunciation of it. Where is it? Okay, there it is. Ehrlichiosis. Yeah, potentially fatal.
Yeah.
So very scary stuff.
You just need to be cautious and aware and check yourself. Check your pets. Check yourself. Like I do a tick check, and we would go and spend a couple of weeks during the summer at Fort Cobb Lake. You did a tick check. I mean, you just had to make sure those little suckers weren't hanging around or that you got rid of them. And,
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I just don't. I was having this conversation over the weekend about how much I don't like ticks. Haven't seen any in my backyard. Knock on wood.
Yes, no doubt.
Thank goodness. But, and I
that's the
certainly
thing.
don't want this one.
I've always wanted an acreage, like a wooded acreage, like privacy, beautiful, sit on the back porch, drink coffee, look at the trees, how peaceful. But then whenever we went to, we were at an Airbnb in the woods, walking through the woods. Oh, I love this. Drop, ticks everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I ever get an acreage, I'm gonna have to treat the whole thing for ticks. And these have been around in the U.S. since 2017. So they've made their way overseas to us, at least 19 states. And here's the thing that's most amazing about all of this to me. They can reproduce asexually. So they don't even need a mate. They're like snails. Sometimes even seahorses
Okay,
can do
this
that.
is like the nightmare, scenario here, right? It's like, ooh.
I'm going to manifest that
I'm starting
pregnant.
to, I'm itching because now it's like, ooh.
I know. And they can just be like, all right, ready to be a mom now.
That's right.
Or,
Okay, it's time.
Yeah. Eggs, babies. Like, I mean, I don't get it. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that
it is
things can
amazing.
reproduce asexually.
Where there's a will, there's a way, right?
So I'm saying, if you ever want to manifest anything into your life, I mean, maybe it can happen if ticks can do it.
If ticks can do it. I like it. Okay, these chicks need to just stay out on their own.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some lighter news.
Yes.
In the metro area, Midtown has lots of restaurants participating in $10 lunch deals.
19 of them.
That's great. And so, if you ever want to, you think about like, oh, okay, I can afford, I don't know, fast food for $10. Nope. This is an actual restaurant meal that you get for $10
Right.
at lunchtime.
I love this. I love this idea because maybe it's a restaurant you've always wanted to try, or you didn't have time, or now you can go have a lunch where they get you in and out. Plus, it's a really reasonable price for
Mhm.
what you're getting.
Mhm.
And there's 19 of them. So it's not like just 2 restaurants are doing this. No, there's 19. So chances are there's something in there that you like, right?
And speaking of which, so this is the Midtown area now through Friday from 11 to 2 p.m.
Right.
We're talking about places like Fassler Hall, McNelly's, Waffle Champion, and some vendors in the Collective area also, which I've never been to the Collective. It's been here forever now. Did you like? Do you like it?
Yeah, because it's like a grown-up food court. You know, it's big girl food court. I like that, because it's just a little different. It's not like the mall food court. Not that there's anything wrong with the mall food court. There isn't. It's just this is just a next step up, right? Next step up.
Yes, next step up. And I love the idea of getting to try somewhere
Yeah,
inexpensively. Because if you think about it, like I had a list of restaurants that I wanted to try with my kids and so forth, but those are like expensive. It's if everybody gets like a $25 plate and then you have the tip and then all of those things, it just totally adds up.
Yeah.
For me and my 2 kids. So it's like here, if you can go for $10, try it out and be like, okay, that's worth going back to.
I
Or
agree.
no, thank you.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah. Hopefully you like all of them. Have you ever been to Waffle Champion?
Not that one.
I haven't been to that one, but I've been to a Waffle Champion.
Yes.
Big fan.
Okay. Have you been to the one in Edmond?
Yes.
Okay, because that's close to where we are. And that place, yes, awesome. I have not been to the one
Now, these are all the Midtown locations, though. So yeah.
So Waffle Champion OKC, I think is what they call it. But
yeah.
Right across the street from that used to be a restaurant called 1492, which I loved, and it went out of business.
Yeah.
A lot of places have been going out of business down there.
They have. So it's nice to see that they're doing something to kind of rally the troops, maybe get you down there. Maybe you haven't been in a while or you've never been. Either way, go visit Midtown.
Do you remember what you had at Waffle Champion that you liked so much?
No, there was a couple of things, though, that I liked it. I kind of like the idea of being a little sweet with savory. Because I'm not necessarily a big sweets person, but I kind of like the mix of that. So I just thought it was an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Great thing.
I do enjoy a waffle. Sorry.
That's okay. No. But you know what else is good? In Edmond, I'm just going to throw them out a plug. The Big Biscuit. That's so fun. I love that place. And the biscuits are like
huge.
Massive.
Yeah. That's
they
true.
ain't lying.
They ain't. I love that word.
Yeah, I do too. And so I throw it out there whenever I can, whenever is grammatically pleasing. So also, we have to brag on this Oklahoma teenager.
I know.
From Owasso. He's going overseas to participate in this 200-mile long, over 2 days, cross-country trek. And it's called, let me go back. His name is Connor Krychek. So he's missing his first year at the first part, half at least, at Owasso to compete in the Highway to Hell Ultra Cycle. So it's nearly 8,000 miles away in a country called Turkmenistan. And so this is one of the least visited countries in the world. That was him with his dad. His mom and dad signed up, but his mom had to back out. So he's like, hey, I'll miss the first semester of school to go over there and compete in this. I don't know if it's a full first semester, but it's several weeks that he's missing out. Apparently his school's fine with it.
I mean, and you have 2 days to complete this 200-mile trek. I don't know. This is just grueling. I mean, applause to this young man for training and doing this. And I realize young is the key word there. Youth is on your side in these instances usually.
Yes.
But this just sounds crazy.
Yes. So it's called the Highway to Hell Ultra Cycle. See, look behind them. See that stuff? So it ends where what's known as over there, the gates of hell.
Yeah,
which
right?
is a burning natural gas field that's been on fire since 1971.
Sounds like something out of The Simpsons, right? You know, the tire fire that's been burning for 35 years.
Yes.
That's like the, you know.
And Homer works at the nuclear plant.
Yes, right
There's
next door. Yeah.
There's a pond with a threyed fish in
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it does. It
But this
sounds
is a real place. Yeah.
yeah, burning since
I
1971.
know.
I would never, I wouldn't mind going to the gates of hell, but I wouldn't want to surpass the gates of hell.
No.
Um,
No.
so the winner gets bragging rights. And one thing about this too that's cool is that Connor said the country is trying to close this down because they're trying to preserve eventually environmentally, the
Sensitive.
surroundings, right?
Yeah.
Like the natural gas field that's been burning. So they want to protect it, but this could be the very last race they
Wow.
have. So that's why he says, I'm on board over there in Turkmenistan.
And got to do it.
Yes.
All
and
right.
Also, one of the cool things about this country, it's one of the least visited in the world. However, the capital city has more buildings made out of marble than any other city in the world. And
Mhm.
so when they finish the race, he and his dad are going to go travel too for a little
I
bit.
love that.
I do too.
He deserves a little time off after that and then get to school.
Yes, yes. That is a lifelong memory that
Oh,
he and his dad
for
will have
sure.
together.
Core
Very
memory.
cool. Yeah, I bet the mom's jealous. I don't know why she had to cancel, but I bet she's cheering them on, but
From
having
afar.
FOMO at the same time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you watch Sesame Street as a kid?
Yeah. I mean, my sister definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember this. I don't remember Sesame Street per se necessarily, but as I got older and then knew when she started watching it, yeah.
Okay. Well, big news in the Sesame Street world, which by the way, I did watch it, but I really liked the Electric Company better.
I love the Electric Company. And my
Yes.
sister did too. She loved the
Yeah,
Electric
that was
Company.
my favorite, but I would watch Sesame Street.
They're
This is
so
hilarious.
cute.
Look at that cowboy hat on Elmo.
I know.
So Sesame Street stars Elmo and Abby Cadabby will sing and host their Grand Ole Opry debut.
Well, isn't that fun?
They're coming up with
I
something
love
new all
it.
the time.
Oh,
Yes.
that's fun.
Yes. My kids loved Elmo. I wasn't a huge fan. But every night before bed they wanted me to play them on YouTube, the Elmo Night Night song.
Uh-huh.
And so it was cute. It's endearing now that they're
Sure.
older.
And you don't have to hear it 20 times a day. Yeah.
Yes.
Or within a 30-minute period. Yeah.
Yes. So last week, Elmo made his grand debut on the Grand Ole Opry, 100th anniversary, and he co-hosted with Abby Cadabby. That's the pink one right there.
Mhm.
So it's called the Sesame Street Cruise Road Trip Across America, which stops at professional baseball games, state fair, corn mazes, and the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville.
I love it.
I do too.
I love it.
Yes. So
So fun, so educational. They've helped so many children. Just showcasing that we can all be different and still come together and learn together and accept other people and situations. I just think every one of their lessons is gold.
I do too. And this show of Around the Block is brought to you by the letter A and the number 13.
That's right. That's right.
I would always stay tuned for that at the ending credits. This show brought to you by the letter B. And I'd be like, oh, wow, the letter B. Banana, bug.
Huh?
So it was very educational.
Absolutely.
So, okay, when we come back, we're going to talk about how cavemen who used stones to create, not hieroglyphics, not pyrotechnics. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
The ancient paintings on walls.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of the word.
I
Anyway,
know.
when we come back, we're going to talk about that, how they were picky about the tools that they use, and we'll tell you why in a new study. Also, Jacqueline is going to take my place, so you'll get to watch more bloopers today as I mess up the board. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, welcome back to Around the Block here on K4 Plus. I'm Carrie King along with Jacqueline Ferris, who joins us. She and Heather swapped places. Heather is at the board now. I know she's trying. There we go. There she is.
Whoa, that's mega zoomed in.
Mega zoom.
Mega zoom. Hello.
Oh, I don't hear you.
did
I
you
can
have
hear
it?
you
Oh,
because
it's
you're
muted.
sitting here.
It's
There
muted.
we go. There we go.
There are so many buttons that do so many cool things.
One of these
learning
days.
them every
Okay,
day.
I'm going to take a picture of the board after this, and we'll show it tomorrow.
Well,
So
you
we
want me
can
to do
show
that? I
you
can
all
do that right now while you guys are talking.
Okay.
If you want to.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, she's
Check
going
it out.
rogue. I like it.
Check it out here. I'll just show you right now.
Okay. So that everybody else can see just like all kinds of colors, fun
It's-
board,
there we go.
just punch the buttons.
There
yeah.
we go. Lots of fun stuff.
Lots of fun stuff. All right. We are having fun. Jacqueline,
Yes.
how are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
It's today Tuesday, right?
It is
Yeah.
Tuesday. I know it already feels like we've had a whole week, right?
know.
No. It's Tuesday, or as Heather likes to say, the most hated day of the week. Because
Why?
studies do prove it.
Really?
Studies do prove
Okay.
it. Because you think Monday, but a lot of people
Uh-huh.
don't. They don't necessarily get a whole lot of work done. But then comes Tuesday, and you got to
Okay.
do Monday's work and Tuesday's work. So a lot of people
Oh,
hate
yeah,
Tuesdays,
I
right?
get that. Sure.
Yeah, we had a producer a long time ago who, man, Tuesdays her worst day of the week. Whew. And
I don't mind them, honestly.
yeah,
No.
yeah, I
No.
don't either. Not it. I don't know that I hate any one day over the other.
Yeah.
I
they're
hate
all-
having to get up early, but
Sure.
I'm awake early, so why not
Yeah.
just get up, right?
Just-
There, that's the way it is now. Okay, so it's hot. We're expecting a cool
Mhm.
front, which is very exciting, and all the buzz online, I'm telling you right now on the K4 page, everybody's commenting on this next cool front and hoping that it comes soon. Give us just a little bit of relief. However, we're going to jump right in there to snow.
Yes.
Jump right in there because we want the city of Oklahoma City wants your child to try and name the newest snowplow.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of fun, right?
I
So
think
what
it's
is it?
cool.
It's like name. It's open to all Oklahoma K through 12 students.
Mhm.
Is it the city of Oklahoma City or is it the state? Might be the
All
state.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, so
K
I
through
would think
12
that it's the.
students. Yeah.
It's got to be the state. Okay.
It's Department of Transportation.
Thank you. I
Yes.
was like, help me think of the agency's name because I kind of just blanked on that one. But some of the funny names that I don't. Heather, did you come up with these? McSnowface,
No, the city,
Snowy McSnowface.
the transportation department did. They
Came
said
up- okay.
ideas like these.
Okay.
Snowy McSnowface.
Plowabunga,
Okay.
Buzz Ice Clear.
Oh, that one's cute.
That's cute.
That's
That's
cute.
really cute. Okay, so if your kid is creative, sit them down because they're all kids are creative. They come up with the craziest names sometimes and cute and fun. So I'm looking forward to what wins. I really can't wait to see maybe they'll release the top 5.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that would
So
be
we would
cool.
have it. Yeah. And you can get their little noggins to thinking right now, and you have until September 15th to submit. And for all those details, K4.com. Yep, K4.com. Probably K4.com/links. And if it isn't, I'll make sure it is right after this show's over.
I feel like
How about
you
that?
know someone who could do that.
Yes, I feel like we have the power.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's fun. Plowabunga, yeah. Okay, so Stone Age. So you know how we've seen the drawings on the inside of the caves and on rocks, and they're just amazing to look at. Well, guess what? Turns out those artists were a little picky about their tools, maybe pickier than archaeologists first thought. But why wouldn't they be? I mean, we act like they didn't have brains. Maybe their brains worked differently than ours do now, but they still, there was an artistry to it. They looked like if it was a cow or a horse, it looked like a horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they are very picky about the tools that they used when they created these artworks. I realize it might not have been art for them. It might have just been making a record, or we like seeing, so we're seeing it here. We're writing. I mean, I don't know what their thought process was, but wow, this is like 2.6 million years ago.
Can I throw something in really quickly?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course, always.
I, before the break, could not remember the word I was trying to think
Okay,
of.
what is it?
Petroglyphs.
Petroglyphs.
Yes, and I kept saying pyrotechnics. I don't know.
Well, I understand. Sometimes though that'll spur your
Yeah.
memory banks, right?
Right.
To get the right word.
But
I
of course,
couldn't
you
think of it
only
either.
remember when it's like you're done with the conversation and then
Mhm.
it comes up. That's the way it always works. So but
Never fails.
there it is, petroglyphs.
This
Two
story.
days later, you shouted out across the newsroom, petroglyphs. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
story makes total sense to me
Okay.
because as someone who considers themselves an artist, I don't want the not nice colored pencils or not
Mhm.
nice crayons, or especially when it comes to paints or paintbrushes.
Mm-hmm.
So I get having your favorite or having preferences because I mean, don't you probably have a favorite pencil
Absolutely.
that you prefer? Yeah.
Absolutely. I like a brand. I like a nice, the way it writes, the way it is. So they would chip this
Yeah.
splint, and when you got it just right, they knew it. You
Mhm.
know, like just like we do too. It's like, oh, I like this. This is it. This is just right.
Yeah.
I just am finding this fascinating that they're doing this. And so I guess there's an archaeological site in Kenya, and
Mhm.
researchers found durable blades made of quartzite, and then they traced that original rock material, and it was like found several miles away. So it wasn't an
Wow.
easy like, oh, it's just right there in the dirt next
Mhm.
to me, or just, no, it was several miles away and miles back to use these tools. So I
I
like
think
it.
that's really cool, and it just shows the evolution and increased abilities of the human brain.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And that, there were preferences, and maybe, some of it was better than others. And
Mhm.
maybe that's because they, you know, practiced more, but really took care of their tools and created new ones, to replace old ones, but wanted it to be just right. I don't know. I love this.
Yeah. I think it's cool, and I love that these cavemen or early inhabitants had favorite paintbrushes and favorite tool making devices.
I do too.
Yeah.
And even like the substance, like they wanted a
Right.
specific substance. And I'm sure that's partly because it was maybe more pliable, more
Mhm.
easy to work with. It made the indentions in the rocks that they wanted it to make. Yeah,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Really cool story.
Okay, so the United States Post Office is unveiling former President Jimmy Carter's Forever stamp. And I love this.
Yeah.
I love all the forever stamps. I mean, because clearly the price you pay for it right now,
Mhm.
even if stamps go up, which they're going to go up, they always go up,
Yeah.
even incrementally, that you don't have to pay extra. You don't have to pay the difference. Like, if I bought this a year ago or now and in 2 years it goes up, but I still have Jimmy Carter stamps, that Jimmy Carter
Yeah.
stamp is still going to get my mail where it needs to go. I love this. I love it. When they first came up with this concept, it was so, I think, innovative.
I do too, and I admit I love sending mail,
Uh-huh. Stamp.
postcards, and just all sorts of mail to all sorts of people. And I still use forever stamps that I got years ago. I buy a bunch of. I
Uh-huh.
like to send different stamps, and so this will probably be one that I'm sending to someone. I'll get the Jimmy Carter stamp,
I love it.
but I do appreciate the forever stamp uh, idea
I do.
because stamps have gone up, but I still have forever stamps that I paid a lot less for.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
And you don't have to pay the difference. So this is going to be available October 1st, and
Mhm.
that would be the 101st anniversary of his birth. So that would have been his 101st birthday. Of course, we just lost him. It celebrates the best in American culture, places, and people. This is the program. And it is difficult to find a more fitting honoree than Jimmy Carter.
Truly.
I mean, he did so much good. He did good before he was in office, but he really did a lot of good works after after his term in office. That wasn't political. It was just strictly
Right.
about helping people and communities build,
Mhm.
build homes for those who couldn't afford them or had never had one. And, he physically did the labor
Right.
and volunteered. He and Rosalind side by side together. They just did so much good and wanted to help others and wanted to help humanity thrive and saw the good in humanity.
Well, this is a good stamp then.
It
And
is a
so
good
I'm
stamp.
excited about it, and I'll add it to my collection.
There you go.
Oh, hang on.
Uh-oh.
I
Uh,
must chime in.
Okay, hang on.
Because I'm super interested in your collection, Jacqueline.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm always, anytime somebody says they have a collection, I'm like, okay, that's super interesting. Why?
Well,
So,
I
like, why do you
wouldn't.
choose stamps?
I don't really think it's a collection per se, but now that you say that, I'm like, oh, this has been going on for a while. When I was a kid on travel, like I'm talking middle school, elementary, I would get postcards wherever we went because gas stations used to have the spin rack of
Yes.
the different postcards next to the spoons and keychains, of course, but there used to be postcards, and so I would get them. Never mailed them. But now, in my seasoned adulthood stage of life, I guess, just really older, I love mailing cards to people. I don't know, I love getting mail, so I just assume other people do. And so I have a lot of
I think
friends
you're
that
right.
get unsolicited mail just randomly.
I think you're right. I
Yeah.
think that it's a lost art.
It
Yeah.
truly, and it's so rare these days that anybody writes a handwritten letter or a
Mhm.
postcard. I think that's super neat. And I think it's neat that you also collect stamps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very cool.
I
All
do
right,
too.
just
So
had to
again,
ask.
October 1st.
We
Look for
will go
that
get them.
for the
Yes.
new Forever stamp
Yeah.
with former President Jimmy Carter. Okay. We're going to be back. We're going to take a little break.
Mhm.
And we're going to talk about two music. I don't know that they're, but yeah, two biggies in the music world and the awards that they're about to be handed. Hey, welcome back to Around the Block on K4 Plus. I'm Carrie King along with Jacqueline Ferris and Heather Holman and DeAnthony McChristian. You might not be able to see the other two, but they are here and sitting close by. Heather's running the board. There she is.
Hey.
DeAnthony's sitting in between us. He is going to lean in. There he is. He's scooting over. He's in a really high chair, and so he's like scoot, 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 because they have wheels on them. There he is. There he is.
There we see him. All right.
All right, the man with the plan. Okay, so let's talk about Busta Rhymes and Ricky Martin. So they're going to make history on the 2025 MTV VMAs. I mean, I remember when MTV really was music television and did play music television. I don't even know if they play music videos anymore on MTV, but nonetheless, we still have the VMAs, right? So Busta Rhymes is going to receive the first ever MTV VMA Rockin' Bells Visionary Award. That's very cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
I remember watching these awards. I loved watching award shows when I was
Uh-huh.
a young MTV watcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never did. I remember it too. I love award shows, or used to. I don't know that I watch them so much anymore. Ricky Martin is going to get the inaugural Latin Icon Award. You know,
That's cool.
I think it is too.
Yeah, it's a big award.
It is. These are two huge awards for two huge musicians, you know, and artists
who really were at the peak of their prime. I guess I would consider it top celebrity. Time for them was probably when MTV was also a big prime time. So this is very cool.
I think so too.
And I will admit, I have seen MTV recently, and I saw music videos on it.
Oh, okay.
It was very
Just in.
nostalgia.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. Hey, remember that's what MTV stands for, right?
Yeah.
So I guess they made this announcement on Monday, and two artists have had a long time history with the VMAs, and they've each performed. I mean, I remember seeing Ricky Martin perform, and it was just like, whoa. I mean, he is definitely an entertainer. I feel the same way about Busta Rhymes. I probably know the words to a lot of his songs. And those VMAs are going to be on September 7th. You can probably find them on a streaming platform near you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you were into music, tune into that.
That's for sure. And those two big awards. Okay, so did you ever have overdue library books?
Oh my gosh, all the time. I know I owe some library books. My kid's school is hounding us for his books from last year, so we know about the library and
the lateness and late
is a
charges and what's your excuse. I really didn't have that many problems. I had one issue a long time ago. I mean, it was years and years ago.
Okay.
But I didn't realize I still had the book, you know, and it was like, oh yeah, I still have that book. Let me find it and bring it to you, right? So I guess there has been a library book that's been returned.
Okay.
After 82 years. This is in San Antonio, the San Antonio Public Library. 82 years.
Are you so embarrassed to walk that back? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like,
wow.
That's incredible.
So it came with the letter. This is the best part. It came with the letter noting that grandma won't be able to pay for it anymore. And the book is Your Child, His Family, and Friends, and it's by a psychologist.
So a parenting book.
82 years.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. And then maybe that was the case. Like it got stuck in a box.
Right.
You moved. You know, that's what happened to me. It got stuck in a box.
Right.
I totally forgot. I moved a couple of times. It moved with me. Didn't make it onto the the shelf with the other books.
Yeah.
So again, it just remained lost until I found it and realized, oh, this is a
Mhm.
library book. I need to go give it back.
You know what's interesting about all that to me
Oh,
is the that you said it is a psychology book about parenting.
Yeah.
I wonder what the tips were 82 years
That's
ago
what I
Oh,
was
yeah.
thinking.
versus today,
I
2025.
That's right.
cannot even. Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty different.
You are to be seen and not heard.
Yes.
And today we're like, tell me your problems.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just a lot of different tips back then, I'm
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
hmm
So the author was psychologist Frances Bruce Strain. If anybody wants to look that up,
Yeah.
there you go. But I am just shocked at 82 years, and they did the right thing. Yes, they
That's
did
what
the
I
right
thought
thing.
was the best part is that they did the right thing because honestly, I think most people would just roll their eyes, giggle, and then
And
chuck the
go,
book
"Woo!"
or say, well, add it to the donation pile.
Right,
You know,
right.
it wouldn't have made it all the way back to the library. So
And
this
now,
is
and
good.
how many times is it going to be checked out
Yeah.
now that it's been returned
I
82
kind of
years
think
after
it
the
could
fact?
become popular. Like,
You never know.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't. You never know. Okay. All right. So we're going to shift gears one more time. And this is a massive mountain park in Vermont. And it's celebrating the bond between dogs and their humans. And I love the way that's
Yeah.
phrased, dogs and their humans, because that's very much how I see my dog.
Uh-huh.
She's the dog and she has her humans,
Yes.
right? Like we're there to serve willingly and gladly, as I know you feel the same way
Mhm.
about Frank. And I know Heather does the same thing with Tulip.
Yes.
Okay, so it's set on 150 acres. It's tucked away on a hillside in Vermont, and it's Dog Mountain, and it's become a destination for dog lovers to explore nature, take in the art, pay tribute to a pet that
Oh,
maybe you've lost. I know I mean, I've heard of this place before.
yeah.
And so people have left pictures on the walls, as you can see. I love those benches and the stained glass. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And this chapel and cemetery. You know, they all leave a little piece of. They take a little piece of your heart
Mhm.
with them, like, and then that piece of your heart forever belongs to them. You know, whether they've crossed the Rainbow Bridge or not. And I just love that they do this.
I would love to go to this place.
I would
I want
too.
to add this to like my bucket list
Yes,
destination
and
list,
it's here in the
honestly.
US. It's in Vermont. I've never
Yeah.
been to Vermont either. I've been
I
to
haven't
most
either.
states, but I've not been to Vermont, and I would love to go to Vermont. I've heard it's just stunningly beautiful. So I guess the gallery manager
Uh-huh.
says that this was inspired by the bond that this man shared with his dogs, and he wanted to create a space where other animal lovers could come and celebrate their beloved pets. And I just think that's awesome because they share your lives. You have your choices determine their lot in life.
Mhm.
You know, whether they have a good life or a not good life. And I feel
Yeah.
that that's a huge responsibility. And then they give you unconditional love
Mhm.
and are just there to worship you. I
Yeah.
mean, seriously. Now, I've had some cats that maybe didn't feel that way, but I knew they loved me, but I knew that they weren't there to worship me. Dogs,
Sure.
on the other hand, just want to please you. They
Oh, yeah.
just want to make you happy. They really, truly do.
Mhm.
And they want you to love them
Yeah.
back. I love this. So this is in Vermont. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Add it to the list.
Add it to that bucket list.
Mhm.
Okay. Speaking of lists, we got to take a break. And do you know the difference between a malt and a milkshake?
I do.
We're going to talk
I
about it when we
do.
come back. It's still good morning here at K4 Plus and around the block. I'm Carrie King along with Jacqueline Ferris and Heather Holman and DeAnthony McChristian. And we are in the middle of the K4 newsroom. You can see people coming and
Mhm.
going, doing some business, making their way around the newsroom today. All right, so let's talk about milkshakes, malts, frappuccino,
Ooh.
concretes, frappes. There is a difference between all of these
Mhm.
things, right? So we were talking in the break, Jacqueline, that we like the taste of malt. Like
I do.
I loved that when I don't do dairy anymore, but
Uh-huh.
when I did, I loved that malt taste. So, and it is a difference
Mhm.
than just a regular, like, milkshake. They would make
Yes.
the milkshake and then add the malt to it, which is
Mhm.
malted milk. It just was an amazing flavor.
Yes. So I did a little research on the
Okay.
story because I did not know the difference between a shake and a malt. I really didn't.
Okay.
And I felt silly asking when I go to the ice cream store or, to the counter and you're like, what do you want? And I'm like, I panic. So a malt, I guess has a nuttier flavor.
Uh-huh.
The malt is a nutty added thickening agent as well. So
Okay.
it changes the consistency a bit.
Yeah. And the taste.
Yeah,
It's a
and the
little
taste.
different. My dad liked malts. He liked that
I do
flavor
too.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, so a frap
Mhm.
in Massachusetts, they call those milkshakes, and it is pronounced frap.
Yeah.
I've never had that, but
I
I don't
haven't
do
either.
milk anymore. So if they had a non-dairy version, I might
Mhm.
try it. But there's another kind of frap popularized by, Starbucks.
Yeah.
So it's like those icy blended latte-esque. They're often topped with ice cream. That's what I think of when I hear,
Mhm.
because that's a frappe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Frappe. Again, I do the non-dairy version.
Mhm.
I don't really do iced. I like coffee hot. So there you
Me
go.
too.
Or all those drinks, I do them hot. I've tried iced coffee so many different ways. I found one that I kind of liked that I could make myself, and it was like you just really beat the heck out of it,
Okay.
with the hot water, and then you put that over ice, and I
Mhm.
could do that. I could do that a little bit. It was okay. I don't know what it is. I just like it hot.
So when you when you did the dairy years
Mm-hmm.
ago, was
Mm-hmm.
there a favorite flavor? If you were, I'm a strawberry shake or strawberry malt,
It was
there?
usually chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah. Not very creative on my part. But
Yeah.
yes, I liked chocolate. What about you?
Rocky Road. Isn't that?
Rocky Road. I know
love
that's your
Rocky
favorite.
Road so much.
That's your
Yeah,
favorite ice cream flavor.
I do. I really like it. It's I consider it an odd classic because not many people are into the nuts and the marshmallows
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the
That's
chocolate
got a
ice
little bit
cream.
of everything in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a surprise in every bite.
It is just, it's probably why I like it.
Okay, we have just a few seconds left,
Okay,
so let's
okay.
talk about the bizarre
Yes.
holidays. It's International Bow
Okay.
Day, International Orangutan
Mhm.
Day, love them. National Potato Day. Oh my gosh, I never met a potato I didn't like.
No.
National Soft Ice Cream Day. Talk like Jar Jar Binks Day. Let's don't. And World Photography Day.
Oh, cool.
All right. Hey, we did it. We've
Yeah.
come to the end of another wonderful Around the Block.
Mhm.
Stay tuned for the noon news, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 11.